Today it's time for the Grand Finals of the GSL Code S Season 1 of 2026. It's time for a best of 7 series of Zerg versus Protoss, where we're starting off on the map Winter Madness. Now, spotting right here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the #1 Protoss on the planet. We're looking inside of the main base of herO. His opponent, a Zerg who's been making a name for himself once again over the last couple of months. He's been playing like an absolute maniac. We have none other than SHIN. And in a way, SHIN is playing Zerg like herO plays Protoss. He really has embraced chaos a lot, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. That being said, when herO locks in, he seems to be nearly unbeatable. herO so far going into this series has earned more money in StarCraft 2 tournaments in 2026 than anyone else out there. He's actually very significantly ahead of the rest of the competition. This man has been playing some fantastic StarCraft. He's also been playing in quite literally everything. So it is nice to see that herO has still got it after all these years of competing. And I do feel like this is going to be a difficult matchup for SHIN. herO just has this aura of being nearly unbeatable. And even though, yeah, herO can really do anything from playing solid macro games to a lot of crazy matches, it's just such a difficult matchup. Like, I don't think you have really ever had anyone that notices in a bracket that they're going up against herO next and that thinks to themselves, oh, thank God, it's herO, right? Like, you don't want to face herO. herO's kind of like SeRO in that way. You really don't want to be facing SeRO or Klim or any of the other top dogs just because, well, they're extremely good at StarCraft, and they tend to win pretty much every single match. Now, there is $15,000 on the line for this best of 7. So the winner is going to get the lion's share, and that certainly means they will be trying their absolute best. Looks like we're just going to be mining 100 Vespene gas for now. SHIN already pulling 2 workers out. He's been very fond of quick lair openers. This is seeming to me, though, like a spawning pool upgrade here. So metabolic boost and then very likely into a quick 3rd hatchery. We'll have to see if there's a drone heading down or if he decides to resaturate the gas. But no, he decides to pull all the workers out. herO's looking for the same thing right now. He wants to know whether or not there is a 3rd hatchery already planted down. You will notice right here that that is not the case just yet. There is technically an alternative 3rd on Winter Madness, but it's a pretty horrible spot. Adept is moving out right now. Drone indeed did attempt to take the 3rd. Stargate nearly done. Zerglings are in the meantime patrolling the 3rd base here for Protoss as well. Normally that's not going to be taken for a little bit as SHIN decides to take the base over here. This is now in the direction of herO. So if herO takes his 3rd base right over here, as the Lynx are going to try and run by, if he takes it on the right side, they're practically neighbors. This is nice though. I like the little splitty. Yeah, that's 1 probe down. How many workers can he get? Honestly, he could get like 4. Oh, that's number 3 over here. This is actually a lot. Wait a second. In the meantime, the Adept is trying to get some scouting info off, but it doesn't really achieve that much. Looks like the probes have decided to turn their tasers onto the Lynx. But that is now, yeah, 4 Zerglings right there for 4 probes. Pretty good start here for SHIN. Don't think he can really complain about that all too much. Otto was also going back up top the pillar, so now that more forces the Oracle to go back, and 3rd Nexus finally gets planted. You can actually see how delayed this is. I thought it was already going to be planted, because herO sent the probe, but he sent it a little bit too early. Normal time is 350. Oh, Stalker. Forcing the Pulsar Beam, he actually decides to go for the kill. Nexus does start up, but about a good 10 seconds late. Normal start on this Nexus is between 345 and 350. This one started up right about 4 minutes. So SHIN trying to, yeah, take control of the game early on. Now, of course, it has been a lot of Zerglings, right? Like, he did make a lot of Lynx to be able to force this control out onto the map. So that did slow down SHIN's economy a little bit too. But I really don't mind this start here for Zerg at all, because obviously now the larva of that 3rd base will kick in. Queens are protecting the mineral line over there. There is a Spore Crawler in the net. It's a bit messy. But I don't think SHIN can be unhappy with the way that this game has begun. Oh, Oracles have decided that the safest route out is straight through the middle. Evo Chamber as well. Resonating Glaives, though, here for Protoss. So that is the movement speed, or the attack speed, rather. Nice movement here by SHIN, yeah. This is the attack speed of the Adept. A pretty risky choice, especially when you have seen that your opponent did go for a Roach Warren. herO is, okay, actually canceling it now. Yeah. He probably started up the upgrade for the Adepts before realizing there was a Roach Warren. Now that he's seen the Roach Warren, he decides to cancel the upgrade. But that right now is shaved like a good 30 seconds off. Interestingly enough, though, SHIN has now seen the amount of Adepts, so he is going to make the assumption that this will be a Gleived Adept push. I'm not sure who this really favors, right? Like, these Adepts are now showing up. It would be an extremely early Resonating Glaives for these units to already have the upgrade. SHIN desperately trying to make, as many units against this sort of force right here, right now. Oracle swoop in again around the side, and then it's Blink Stalkers in a moment. herO using Chrono Boost on both the +1 attack, and then also the Blink Research itself. Some mind games going on, but I can't help but wonder whether or not this is good for Protoss. Like, unless SHIN respects him a little bit too much, this should work out really, really nicely for the Zerg. Fourth hatchery is about halfway done. And here's SHIN marching across. SHIN has now realized, okay, wait a second, you're not actually going for a Gleived Adept push at all. Blink is coming, but it's not yet done. If he strikes within the next 10 seconds, which I think is what he's aiming for, okay, maybe 20 seconds, he's gonna be in a phenomenal spot. Yeah, Zerglings get the wraparound. Shield Battery is not gonna be able to heal up that much longer. A couple Ravagers will be joining the fray as well. Oracles are mostly out of energy. Okay, no, I think the numbers are still good enough for herO, though. Suddenly, though, we are committing, and I wonder if we're over-committing. The Queens are marching forward as well. Obviously, the Shield Battery is already empty. This wasn't the original game plan for either player. But they have... Ooh, he missed a transfusion. They have accidentally stumbled upon this. If herO can hold on, that would be a really nice advantage for him. He has way more workers, but Corrosive Balls are scary. The static defense is being absolutely destroyed. Oracles are fully empty, so that means that there's not going to be any continued damage coming out of them. And the Stalker numbers are dwindling. Brenda's going for a move around the side as well. Corrosive Balls are landing onto the probes. SHIN did not intend, I don't think at the very least, to go for a Roach Ravager Queen push. But it certainly worked out favorably for him. Third Nexus is going to die. And that is all she wrote, I think, for Protoss. Now, this is, of course, a Premier Tournament Finals. So we'll probably see herO try for a little bit longer. But this is now such a significant advantage for SHIN. It'll be difficult for him to really give up from this spot. I mean, if he somehow actually gets back, Protoss that is, I would be very, very surprised. We have a Hydra then on the back of this, Roach Speed as well, Spore Crawler over at the 4th, Oracle over here, no longer really controlled very much. And suddenly, Protoss is stuck on just 2 bases, with a Zerg army right outside of his front door. We do still have charge finishing though, and +2 attack is going to be done in about a minute. SHIN decided to add on another round of drones just for 3 base saturation. He knows, of course, that Protoss is here on just 2. He did check the expansion as well on the left, so... He is effectively getting like 50% more income than Protoss is at this point in time. And that just means he can trade ridiculously cost inefficiently and still come out ahead. So that's why we're dancing here. Roach Speed is going to be done soon. Hydra Ranged is going to be done soon as well. SHIN decides to be polite and hit a supply block. Alright. Psystorm also coming up on the back of this. But I like this here for SHIN, man. Like, honestly, SHIN committing to that push... It's kind of crazy, right? Like, the fact that he decided not to really respect the opponent too much, because I feel like that's something that happens whenever people go up against herO. He's like, nope, you didn't go Resonating Glaives. That means I'm going to commit. Good luck to you. I will try and see if I can end the game with this push. And I think he really could not have hit any later than he did. But that turned out to be a perfect timing. This game is not yet over, though. herO still has an army. He still has Stalkers and Oracles, and he is, well, somebody who can microdose better than basically anybody else out there. Zealots have charge. We have High Templar with Psystorm. We have one final push in us. The cost efficiency has been incredible for Protoss over the last few minutes. If we have a look at the army size, yeah, despite a really significant income advantage, looks like some Ravagers over here are also dying. Wait a second. Is SHIN actually throwing this? There's no way SHIN is throwing this. This is one of those games where... I think if it was a ladder match, The odds of herO having tapped out are not quite zero. He decides to give up in his expansion over here on the low ground. In the meantime, Zerglings get into the main base. Wait a second. Did herO just somehow, some way get the job done? Bunch of Hydras over here are also going to spawn to their deaths. This is a lot of damage being done, though, inside of the main base. herO can warp in right over here, but he's committing to the main front. Is there actually enough Protoss to still break through all of this? Never count herO out, man. Couple Zealots being warped in inside of the main base. At this point, SHIN is really just trying to buy time. And while herO has made it difficult, I think as time goes on, SHIN's economy is just a little bit too good. He's very thankful, I'm sure, that he did make another batch of drones whilst pushing across the map. There's a lot of Zergs that would still be sitting at like the mid-50s worker count, which is fine against 23 probes, but not so much against 44. Okay, SHIN even going into another Evo chamber now. He does not want to throw it. Dude, throwing a 1 game in map number 1 of a best of 7 series is mentally GG. Like, if you throw away a lead that significant, I think you may as well tap out for the rest of the tournament, man. Like, that is... It's very hard to come back from that, especially when you're going up against herO. You glance right next to your monitor. They call herO the smiling assassin. herO always has this cheeky smile on his face. You just know that that smile is going to be a little bit bigger if you do end up throwing the game. Not something you really want to have to deal with. herO is now, though, 11.5 minutes into a 2-base economy, and that means the main is running out, the natural is running out. It is going to be very difficult to sustain this for much longer. There's also now literally a fight here on creep, which is just so much better for Zerg, and the creep is right outside of the natural. We do have a lot of storms. 10 High Templar and a Dream. I think the addition of Roaches is smart. Roaches are a lot beefier than Hydras can ever be. Yeah, and I think this is herO just trying to almost have some fun here, right? Maybe just try to drain the motivation of the opponent for a little bit longer. Try to stress them out as much as possible. This game is practically over, and herO knows it. But you know what? You may as well try to beat the opponent a little bit more, right? Just hit him a little bit harder. This splitting on the Roaches and the Hydras is stressful. SHIN certainly is gonna have a... Like, he's gonna be wondering at this point if there is, like, a hidden base, or if there's something out there that he does not quite know about. SHIN now, though, doubling his opponent's supply. Doubling his opponent's worker count. Not quite doubling the opponent's upgrades. Man, the storms are really nice. Such a good ability. Cheeky little blink forward. Oh, you can't break this spot, though. Yeah, I think what SHIN is doing here is correct. Teching up right now to, like, Lurkers is very tempting. Teching up to Brute Lords or Ultras or whatever, very tempting, but not necessary. It's just risky. Oh, man. herO breaking out of this, getting some ridiculous cost-effective trades here. The High Templar are not going to have energy forever, but they have energy for a little while longer. SHIN not intimidated, though. Yeah, and I like it. I feel like a lot of players here would have been a little bit more chill, but he knows the spot he's in, and he's just going to commit to it. One more Archon falls. GG gets cold. It is SHIN, who basically has been winning this game since about minute 6. Really, ever since the first Zerglings got 4 probe kills. He's been winning this game since about minute 2, but it's taken him a while to actually close it out. GG. Okay, next up, we find ourselves on White Rabbit. Are we gonna take the forward base as our very first expansion, SHIN? No, he wants to take the natural. herO here starting off the game by sending a probe straight across. That now means apparently we do take the base over here at the bottom instead. No, we don't. He managed to grab the natural. He had me distracted too, for what it's worth. So yeah, he managed to distract herO successfully, and me. Maybe some of you out there as well. A little bit of lost mining time, though, on that very first worker of the Zerg that decided to go out into the map. It's got to be a hatchery into a pool, into a gas. A little bit strange. Generally speaking, you go hatch into gas, into pool. But I guess all the timings are already slightly thrown off here by the South Korean Protoss. So honestly, right? Where did that previous game go wrong for Protoss? Well, I find it strange how 4 Zerglings managed to get 4 probe kills at about minute 2, maybe minute 3. That's too early to be taking that much damage. Lings aren't really supposed to... No, when was it? Maybe minute 4. I don't know exactly what time it was. Anyways. Lings aren't supposed to deal that much damage to a mineral line that early. And while 4 probes may not seem significant, it really just hamstrings any sort of Protoss follow-up. Especially something like Glaive to Depths. And then obviously herO decided to commit to the Glaive to Depths, scouted the Roach War, and now he loses a scouting probe here as well. I don't know, herO's not looking too good here. I find this all a little bit messy. And he's gonna have to tighten things up if he plans on winning this Grand Finals. These are not the types of mistakes you can really get away with. Especially if you want to go for like an all-in though, right? So, Glaive to Adepts, I mean, maybe not 100% all-in, but it's, let's call it very dedicated pressure. Right? And when you are going for very dedicated pressure, losing like a solid, what was it, like 15% or so of his total economy to 4 Zerglings early on? Obviously, that slows down or reduces the number of units you have with your eventual attack. So, gotta be careful. Should not be able... Oh, man, the drones are vicious today. That's a second kill because of the workers. Who got the final hit? I think it was this queen, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It was this queen. Look at Brenda. Dang. She's a murderer now. Congratulations, Brenda. In the meantime, some Lings on the other side of the map yet again. Nope, don't lose it. Don't lose it, herO. Okay, what? He stopped running. Probius stopped running. That's 2 workers for 3 Lings and an Adept. This is a phenomenal start for SHIN yet again. Look, I don't want to oversell it, because in absolute resources, those units are cheap. But it's all about the avalanche that is Zerg. Right now, SHIN is you know, he's just like a little ball of snow rolling down a hill. But before you know it, it's going to turn into an avalanche. Before you know it, herO is not going to be able to send the oracles across the map because he needs to take a 3rd base, or he has to send the oracles across the map and basically not get a 3rd base. Like, it gets very messy really fast. Ultimately, Otto the Overlord does die. herO's committing to a 3rd Nexus yet again, but look at the time. 4:05 is kind of the norm if you are delayed with, like, additional gateway units, right? If you go for the 2nd gateway here, 3:50 is the norm. It's... I can't say I love this all too much here for herO thus far. Evo Chamber. Instead of a Roach Warren this time. That's indicative of SHIN wanting to go for a +1 melee build. Really good against Blink Stalkers in particular. It's a little bit of rock, paper, scissors though from the Zerg. Because if now you go up against Glaive to Depths, this is not quite not quite optimal. Oracles go in. They want to get the kill on the queen itself. Okay, fair enough. Revenge at the very least for the probe. Actually, no, for the Adept even. Oh, no! What? Can't believe that happened. Wait a second, did he just... Well, revenge upon revenge upon revenge. +1 melee does indeed get fired up. Twilight Council and Forge very late. SHIN really hasn't powered out a ton of drones though, and that really is herO's saving grace. If SHIN would have been sitting on like 60 workers at this point in time, I mean, I wouldn't want to call it GG just yet, but it may as well be. Yeah, SHIN is making a lot of units, more so than Zerg ordinarily makes. So he's been making a ton of Lings, and that may just make all of this manageable. Quickie little Evo Chamber to try and keep that drone alive. And this is so rough as well for herO. Look, it's +1 melee into Blink Stalkers. Exactly what SHIN wants. Lairs coming up for SHIN. He'll probably go into a Hydra Bane or a Hydra Bane Ling army from here. So probably a Hydra then as soon as the Lair is finished. Zerglings are also going around, snatching some of the probes that are trying to make their way towards the 3rd Nexus. Got ourselves a shield battery. Committed with a photon cannon as well. All of this is fine, but it just slows everything down. Mendoza Depths can also just be surrounded so easily right now. Yeah, he decides to actually turn around with the links. Runs into the little nuke. Fair enough. Oh, no. What? He committed with the Shade, but the Shade wasn't controlled? No way, herO. Yeah, we're gonna have to sharpen things up, herO. This is not it. These mistakes are okay if your opponents aren't god-tier Zergs. I think it's sometimes easy to forget how good pro gamers actually are. This is a totally viable thing to do against somebody in Grandmaster League. But somebody like SHIN would be labeled as like a super Grandmaster, right? If we want to be using chess terms. It is a different level altogether. You need to be far sharper to beat somebody of SHIN's caliber. Gateways are gonna get delayed as well. Stalkers now have to run all the way back home to try and get rid of these pesky Zerglings. In the meantime, the Hydra Den is indeed done. We're going charge together with the Templar Archives. 4th hatchery is finished as well. 5th hatchery on the left. Yeah, and again, this is something that... Oh, +1 melee is real nice here, man. +1 melee is real nice here. +1 melee is so nice. herO looking away for a while. Where were those oracles? They were trying to harass on the other side of the map. Now the 4th Nexus. Ah! It's like watching a car crash. Oh, he got the probe? He really wanted to get everything. Okay, SHIN got a little too greedy. A lot of Zerglings on the back of this as well. I'm a little bit afraid for when the Hydra Den really starts kicking in, and that's gonna be very soon. Ooh, he could have run by and I think killed the Nexus, but SHIN did not really want to commit. Storm is not yet finished, but Hydras are popping out in large numbers. Pneumatized Carapace added into the mix right now too. Maybe SHIN wants to go around and get some queens into the party yet again. Sent the queens in the battle bus? Do we still call things battle buses? I don't know. Do people still play Fortnite? Cancel on the 4th Nexus. Oh, yo, 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 yo. Look away, Protoss fans. herO may be a very tactical player. He may be a bit of a mad genius. But in this particular series so far, he is just getting owned. And it's like little bits of ownage here and there, right? It doesn't necessarily have to decide the outcome of this game. But SHIN is going to be very happy with how all of this is going. There we go. The private jets. They're being summoned. 5 Dropalords ready to go. Fleet Beacon. Psystorm and Fleet Beacons, baby. That's what we do in Diamond League. That's what we do at the pro level. When in doubt, Skytles with High Templar. Well, let's see if it's the right choice. SHIN is advancing out right now. These are big, expensive investments that herO is making, and obviously his eco has been reduced for quite a while. Here go the Dropalords. Oh, we're doing a little bit of a Hydra drop of all things. That's expensive. Yeah, okay. Sorry, mate. This guy thought he was called for something important. In the meantime, there is a skirmish happening in the middle of the map. Some nice storms, it looks like. But I'm a little bit afraid for this. That's a lot of Hydras. You can't just do a cheeky little Zealot run by against this, or like a Warp in over here and be fine. We could recall some units, but that is the +3 ground weapons getting denied. In the meantime, the other half of the Zerg army is engaging on the left. The entirety of the Protoss army seemingly getting all army hotkeyed into the main. Blink over here is good, though. High Templar, indeed, or the Stalkers, rather, are being targeting down or they're targeting down, rather, those Dropalords. What about the base over here? What about the roly-poly Banelings? Say goodbye to your Zealots. You guys were just warped in here? Too bad. Now you're dead. In the meantime, though, the Protoss army is coming in around the back. Zealots over here are being torn to bits as well. This is messy, though, here. Yeah, from SHIN. Maybe getting a little bit carried away with Bloodlust. High Templar getting targeted by Zerglings. Oh, yeah, walking on your own storm. Okay, sure. Yeah, tactical storm. Now we're at 85 drones. 59 probes. 4 base economy, but not a lot of probes. Mamado is coming. And you know what? Never count a Protoss player out with a mothership when Zerg does not have a Spire. SHIN does not really know about the transition, but I think he can make the assumption. He's seen the fleet beacon. He saw that no Tempest or a second Stargate was built. Now, this is nice here for herO. Blink. Yep. We are going to be able, I think at the very least, to make a Death Ball that will be more efficient than the Death Ball that we saw in the previous game. Right? herO was stuck on 2 bases. But now he's got Mama. Now he's got High Templar with Storm. I mean, he had some of that as well in the previous game. But he's got to have a pretty good combination of units. SHIN is not teching up towards Hive. So we're just doing Hydraling Bane, it seems, until the end of the game. And I wonder if that's a mistake. It is putting a bit of a timer here onto SHIN's game plan. I think the safe approach would be a Infestation Pit right now, and then maybe like a Lurker Den or a Spire or something along those lines. Once Zergling gets in. Okay, we're all looking around, or SHIN rather looking around to see if maybe there's something hiding here behind the mineral line. Not quite the case. SHIN is maxed. But herO, I mean, he's slowly saturating this base yet again. Tempest production has now begun. It hasn't been the cleanest of matches. But we are now getting into Skytle's territory. Second Stargate added into the mix as well here for herO. A little bit of a Baneling roll by. Okay. They see me rolling. They hatin'. Oh, we're gonna do a double roll by. Roll by from every direction. Mama Cloak! Mama Cloak! Cloak! Mama Cloak! Okay, never mind. Wasn't needed. Nobody panic. Mama actually just killed. How about that? Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Baneling's over here, though. Far more effective. That being said, the High Templar and most of the Zealots are still alive. Big Zerg counterattack as well. They're going after Mama. Okay, Mama's dead. Took a lot of Hydras, though, to take her out. Recall right now? Wait, where? To the third. Okay, fair enough. I thought for a second he was recalling to this base. That would have been incredibly risky. More and more Banelings are joining in the fray as well. Okay. Banelings, of course, not quite ideal when the High Templar are out, but SHIN is not scared. Starts up the Hive right now. Banelings? Oh! Zealots just charged into a bunch of Banes. Through that little line of sight blocker. Although there were some Oracles on the other side, so I think he noticed it at the last possible moment. Yeah, SHIN has become the swarm here. None of that slow-moving Zerg late game with, like, delicate spellcasters and Ultralisks and Lurkers and all the rest of it. Nah. We just slam Hydraling Bane around the map. Welcome back, Sue. Close enough. Spire gets planted down, though, just in case. Big Zergling run by on the other side of the map once more. Hydra's joining in the fray as well. Fourth Nexus here on the right side. Is this actually the smart way to play? I'm not sure. Is it entertaining to watch? Hell yeah. I know there's a lot of SHIN fans, a lot of Ragnarok fans over the last couple of months. The man's been on fire lately. There's something about... I don't know, I feel like the best thing, the best word to describe what has happened to SHIN over the last month or two is really just confidence. Like, he is oozing confidence with the way that he's marching around the map. Most people, when they play against herO, they just kind of, like, delicately go for these very risky strats. But SHIN is just going fully into it, and it's working. Like, he's not cowering here. And it reminds me a lot of the way that Dark used to play, right? Now, this is crazy as well from herO, though. Like, herO has been in a really rough spot, so what do we make? 1 million Zealots? And we sent them all around the map. This is like 4 Nexus worth of Zealots going in for a hatchery snipe. Nice little split as well, though, by SHIN. That is not gonna work out. How does one get more confident? I feel like that needs to be figured out. Maybe changing your username back to Ragnarok temporarily is the way to do it. Just be more confident. How about that? Just be more confident. How about you stop being scared and just be more confident instead? Here we go, though. SHIN is sending it. It's a bloodbath. I don't think you want to be a Hydra here in SHIN's army. The storms are really nice, though. There's also, in the meantime, a Zergling run by over at the 12 o'clock position. So while maybe many Zerglings and Hydras and Banelings are giving up their lives over here, they are enabling the lives to be killed of many other Zerglings up north. But then simultaneously also 26 probes, which is nice. It's not even over yet. Look at Lenny. Lenny heard about the legendary Zerglings from the first game of this series. Decided to give it a shot himself. Look at the Hive timing, man. So a lot of... Oh, he canceled the Hive! No way. How many Zerg builds over the last year or two have all been coming down to rushing a Hive? SHIN just made a Hive and he realized, nah, I would prefer not having a Hive. I want to make more of the mid-game army instead. We're going back to transfuse Hydras, okay. I mean, he is kind of broke. I'm always kind of on edge with this sort of thing. Like, I really am not sure if it's the correct way to go and, you know, approach the match, but SHIN is kind of broke. He's no longer maxed. He is going into Corruptors right now, but he needs to be careful because it's only Mama. Actually, sorry, correction. It's only the stepmother ship. Yeah. I thought, I wasn't sure. Maybe it was the third generation. Little Zergling run by yet again. Energy recharge onto the High Templar to get an extra storm. I feel like going Hive, though, even if you don't want to go for, like, Ultras or Lurkers or whatever, just for Adrenal Glands alone is pretty much worth it. Because it's just such a good ability. But here we go. First Mama died. Now Stepmom is gonna be next. Rest in pieces. In this particular instance, many pieces that are scattered all over the battlefield. What are the Corruptors gonna do, though? We have 12 Corruptors right now. I guess what they can do is hang out in the corner of the map, or... Oh, we can go, Okay, yeah, we can go and kill the Nexus. It's an ability that ramps up in damage over time. And you can tell. Yeah, I dealt a little bit of damage right there near the end. Professional commentary. Do it again, do it again. Ah, it's on cooldown. We'll have to wait. Little Zealot run by again on the left side. Zerglings in the meantime. Going after their natural enemy, the Archon. Corruptors have decided that they want to go back home as well to try and kill Zealots. It's an ambitious goal. Oh, careful with that drone transfer, dude. Yeah. Oh, it's time. I think you just keep spraying it. Oh, okay. Well, apparently SHIN agreed. herO didn't like it. GG gets cold. And that means that the Zerg gets a second point on the board. I just realized my caustic spray sound and my Murgle impression are remarkably similar. I haven't played World of Warcraft or any Warcraft game really in a while, but let me give it a shot. There we go. It's like you're back in Elwyn Forest. Apparently caustic spray is not far off. Maybe it's the same voice actor. I've heard once that the original sound effect for Murlocs in WoW was like a bunch of dudes gurgling yogurt. I don't know if that's just like an urban gamer myth or if it's actually true. Wonder how they did actually, caustic spray doesn't have a sound effect. Well, it does, but it doesn't even sound remotely. Anyways. Yeah, I just realized I made that up. Oh, well. Nexus over here inside of the main base once more. Oracle being produced. And look, herO, all memes aside, he has to clean his early game up. He needs to play a cleaner early game. You cannot be losing probes left, right, and center, and then a random Oracle, and then get your third base delayed for no apparent reason at all. I want to see a sharp 345 to 350 Nexus. This is a second gateway, which is pretty safe actually for herO standard. You can go for a 330 Nexus if you do not go for that second gate. Sending the probe a little bit early. The Zergling run by set up yet again. Couple of depths over here. Bam. 343. That is the best third Nexus timing so far. Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do is just to go back to basics. It's a lot of Zerglings being made here as well by SHIN, right? Like, he did make a lot of them already. So that is like, what? Like, maybe 10 Zerglings or so? Or sorry, like 16 Zerglings or so worth of drones, right? So it's, you know, a significant economic hit here for SHIN that has not really paid off yet. Second Oracle. Where's the second Oracle? Okay, they've both decided to go across the map. The defense here is good. What about the links? This could be massive if SHIN can actually get the value, but I don't know, man. Oh, God, he got it. I feel like we didn't even really need to cancel it yet. That now did justify the early game for SHIN. Oracles, in the meantime, have done 0 damage. Maybe a little bit of lost mining time, but not quite enough. Lair starts up. Looks like there was a stasis ward over here, but properly defended. Shield battery goes down as well. No, it doesn't. Just kidding. Haha, Lowko, you're so funny. I'm going to hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Fourth hatchery in the meantime. Roach Warren, +1 Evo. Where's the Roach Warren? It's right over here. Okay. It's a bit of a disaster here for herO. Again, just like the previous matches, not the end of the world. And it all comes down to execution now from SHIN. But this is another one of those games that's on rails. Scout over here in the main base as well will reveal that it's a Twilight Council. He did not see the Templar Archives. So this is actually a Zealot Archon push. Zealot Archon is really good against +1 melee links. Not the case. We have +1 missile together with roaches. Quick lair is already done. So that means that roach speed is going to be an option too here for SHIN. He's a little bit late, I guess, on that extra gas. Yeah, same for the gas over at the third. He probably could have made that a little bit sooner already. That's why his mineral count is kind of out of whack. And you know what? This is nice. I mean, this is what you like to see. If you're a Protoss player, that is. Suddenly that opens up the door for herO to go for a bit of an attack. SHIN's got too many resources available right now. Maybe a Spinecrawler or two, honestly. Like maybe another Nexus or a Zerg Nexus over here at the bottom, a hatch. Charge is so powerful. SHIN not gonna be able to keep that base alive. There's no reason to even give it a shot. Okay. The changelings there. Oh, the Brutelings, rather. They were the ones setting off. Huh. Wait a second. I don't even know if I've really seen that interaction up close before. Interestingly enough, even though the... Huh. So in my understanding of StarCraft, nothing can die while in stasis, because nothing can take damage while in stasis. But apparently the Brutling timer can still wear off, even though the stasis is active. I feel like that tells us something about the life cycle of being in stasis. I feel like that is something we need to be studying. Anyways, no time for that. herO is thinking the same thing as I was. There should be a base over here at the bottom of the map. There is no base at the bottom of the map. SHIN instead going for the one over here. Yeah. And this is starting to slip out of the Zerg's fingers a little bit now. We're trying to do that overwhelming advantage like the previous game, but now economically, SHIN is even to the Zerg, or to the Protoss rather, and yeah, herO has just a lot of unit production. Getting a cancel on this base a second time around would be massive. This is kind of risky though for herO. He doesn't have a prism available, which is crazy. I think it just actually spawned. The Zealots on the left side do get surrounded. Yeah, we are actually going to commit to a prism. We have 8 gateways in total. Ooh, the queens are caught off creep. Nice Stormy. I mean, we can do another juicy Stormy there in the mineral line. Which is really using this, though, as a way to guide his army in the right direction. Couple zealots as well over in the base. And then we have a big warp in here reinforcing all of this. I don't really know if we need to go this hard, herO. Okay, good defense there with the prism. But it's mostly a roach-based army. And I think we can chill a little bit against roaches. Like, roaches in a way kind of like play themselves. Because yeah, they're nice right now. But also you max out with them real quick. And then it's just kind of wasted supply. So I think herO can just chill here, go for a base of his own, yeah, and try to max out. Maybe even like a second robo would be kind of nice. Immortal production has kicked in. This is one of those compositions for Zerg that will likely lead towards a lurker late game, if that is ever what we really need. So we can go Archon, Immortal, Zealot, Lurk, or like, yeah, with Storm. It's really nice against lurkers and all the other units here that Zerg has. So second robo would not be such a bad plan. A little bit of harassment here to keep things moving along. Anti-F2 siege. You love to see it. So far we have learned that SHIN is allergic to hive tech. So if that's the case, maybe we don't really have to be so aggressive here. Got ourselves a fleet beacon yet again. A lot of High Templar available. Careful with those High Templar though. Ooh. Almost exposed. He doesn't know about the Banelings or the lack thereof, but it's always something you have to keep in the back of your mind. Losing a clump of High Templar like that is very, very risky. herO's just fishing for some nice hits. He's getting them, though. Ooh, not too bad. This is one of those setups where Mama would be phenomenal. Yeah, he's got storms for days. 7 High Templar. He's getting about 10 storms a minute. Not too bad. Still, though, you have to be careful. Yeah, maybe he got a little bit too overzealous. Or overzealots. Speaking of which, they're going down at the bottom. Going after the base over here is sweet. SHIN is currently pretty much maxed, so he doesn't really have a squad of units at home to reinforce this with. The Archon Immortal army is really good. So many probes are dying, but likewise drones are also falling so quickly. An entire mineral line is being sliced up, and then in the meantime, that Nexus, well, is still safe right over here. The hatchery, though, not so lucky. Reinforcing roaches get caught. And those zealots will get cleaned up eventually, but this is really nice. Excellent work here for herO, who now just needs to get his piggy bank together and hit it in the face. Yeah, +3 attack. Good. Next up, we gotta buy Mama. How much does Mama cost? 400 minerals, 400 gas, 8 supply. Is expensive, but she's worth it. This is the type of game right now where SHIN has no economy at all. So he really needs to win this game before Mama is out. Mama is the win condition. Good luck. Good luck, SHIN. You can do it. I don't... actually, maybe. Immortal count's pretty nice, though. Storms are pretty good. GG gets cold. It's herO who managed to get a point on the scoreboard. And that takes us to the Ruby Rock. Very normal openers once again. herO opting to go for a Stargate just to mix things up. I would imagine we're going to open up with some Adepts, and then we're going to follow this up with some Oracles, but who knows? SHIN is not entirely trusting of the situation. He decides to just check around to see if the most common location for a proxy is indeed taken here by Protoss. No pylon seen though, so seems safe enough to be able to plant down a third hatchery right about right now. He did pull out a gas fully yet again. Just enough for the metabolic boost, and we'll be progressing from there. So where did that previous game go wrong for SHIN? Well, he had a flying start, right? He managed to make just the right number of Zerglings to force the cancel on the opponent's third Nexus. So that game was once more on rails. But then when the first main attack of Protoss hit on his side of the map, he didn't quite have enough units. I didn't quite see if he maybe hit a supply block or if he was slowed down in any other way. Either way, when the attack came in and it was obvious that he was not going to be able to keep that fourth base alive, he did not immediately replant down another fourth base. It took him like a minute or so before he did so. And I really feel like that moment in the game, that little bit of hesitation, even though it wasn't much, it did really allow herO to get back into the match. Because it allowed herO then ultimately to follow it up with Storm, and then, well, the roaches were made, but then the roaches were kind of suboptimal against it, and then ultimately Mama sealed the deal. Let's see what we can do. Let's see where we can take this match now. The margins are very slim. Huge drone transfer, by the way, to the third. Hungry Oracle. I didn't know oracles could salivate, but that was it, I'm pretty sure. Triple Oracle, yet again. Third Nexus, by the way, at an appropriate time. Are we going to be adding on, there we go, a Twilight Council as well? We will indeed. I would imagine this is going to be Blink, because this is a very normal start, but then again, it's herO. We can do a little bit of everything. SHIN, by the way, not opting to go for nearly as many Zerglings this time around. I find that interesting. Yeah, so up until this point, he's only made the normal number of Zerglings. In the previous games, he's been very, very Zergling heavy early on. But this is a lot more conventional. So I think maybe we have a similar idea as what herO did in the previous game. SHIN going back to basics now. Honestly, that's sometimes what you gotta do, right? Sometimes you just gotta go back to the good old tried and true strat. Sometimes when you go out and you get ice cream, you just gotta get vanilla. Look, I know they have all these fancy flavors, but sometimes vanilla strawberry is the way to go. It's very hot over here in the Netherlands at the moment. It's about that time of the year. I could do some ice cream. It's fine. Anyways. Similar right here in StarCraft though. Like, it's very nice to get fancy and to play these spicy strategies and all the rest of it. But sometimes you just gotta go back to the tried and true builds. Double expansion right now for SHIN. I think it's smart. We're going charge yet again, by the way. Charge together with the +1 ground attacks. Together with the good old Storm upgrade as well. All of this is very conventional. Yeah, very conventional for herO. The Europeans pretty much always go into Blink as their very first upgrade out of the Twilight Council. I always find it kind of ironic. Oh, look, we have Foracles. How nice. I like saying that word. Foracles. You know what we should do? I gotta say it. We should make Moracles. Okay. Anyways, sorry. What was it saying? Right. Most of the time we see Blink. I find it kind of ironic that herO is the one with probably the best Blink micro on the entire planet, but he is also the one that really enjoys going for the one unit that doesn't require any micro at all, aka the Zealot. Right? There's something ironic about it. You spend all this time microing Stalkers, and then you get really good at it, and you win games of it just on that micro alone, and then you go Zealots. Attack move. What's this? Misclick? Okay, apparently what we're doing is we're laser beaming a hatchery down. And you know what? I like it for multiple reasons. A, because the hatchery over here is dead, so that's great. B, whenever I put oracles on the thumbnail, the video always performs really well. So shout out to herO. People love stack laser beams, okay? What can I say? I agree. It's a great idea. So what was the Phoenix for? What are we doing with that? Why do you exist? Why are you here? Where are you going? What is your purpose? You were an accident. These are all things you don't want to hear, but I'm sorry, lad. You were a misclick. Yeah. It is what it is. You're now just being put to work because you are around, but, you know. Yeah, we're now pretending that we want to try and prevent, like, an Overlord or an Overseer going for, like, a Nidus in the main base or something. We have parked you into a position where you might be useful. Yeah. Sucks to be that Phoenix. Anyways. Ooh, High Templar. Oh, no, another High Templar. That's painful. Roach Hydra going in. Roach Hydra squad as well on the right side. This is a nice attack here for SHIN. Slicing the Protoss units in half. We should have been attack moving with those roaches, though, for a little bit. And why are you guys running in this direction? Wait a second. Did SHIN just get a really good position and then throw it away? Excellent storms there, yet again by herO, who's just zapping everything to death. Bzz, 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 mother lover. Okay, that was actually a ridiculously good defense by herO in the end. I thought the Nexus was going to die and then half the units were too, and in my mind, the probes over here on the right side were already dead too when the Roaches and Hydras would have committed. But herO has now salvaged the situation with barely losing any probes. As a matter of fact, he lost no probes this entire game. And the Nexus is alive. And he didn't really lose any of his really expensive units other than those Templar. So the Archons are still around, and the Oracles are somehow, some way able to engage but still be fine. And maybe most importantly, the Phoenix is still useless. +3 attack for herO coming up on the back of this. Oracles are oozing with confidence. Look at this guy cosplaying as an Oracle. It's poor poor Phoenix, man. It got hit by a storm. Look at those Oracles going in, though, man. It's insane. They are dealing so much damage. The High Templar storms are ridiculous. SHIN may be overcommitting a little bit. Yeah, now he's getting blinked and surrounded on. All the Oracles are dying. The herO Phoenix just exists to see its friends fall. Man, to exist is to be in pain. But herO gets the job done in a very bloody manner. GG. Next up, 10,000 feet. Who's better with feet, SHIN or herO? That's the question. I gotta say, this has been a bloody series so far, right? Like, game number 1 and 2 were very dominantly in favor of the Zerg. Game 3 and 4? Yeah, they were good. But I kind of feel like I'm favoring herO at this point in time. Mostly because I think SHIN has kind of told us now what his game plan is in this finals. Clearly, he does not want to play late game. Clearly, he has no intention to go Ultras, Brute Lords, Adrenal Glands, +3/+3, Vipers, Infestors, Lurkers, like none of that. All of that is something he's trying to avoid, at least thus far. And I think in game number 1 and 2, herO is kind of trying to figure out, okay, what's the goal? Where are we going to take this? But then in game 3 and 4, he's been playing around that knowledge quite nicely. Going for that very focused mid-game army, getting the storm up quickly, getting charged up quickly so you can't really die too easily. You don't really need to do a lot of damage with Stalkers if they don't want to play late game anyways. So, get the storm going early, and then Immortal Archon, Zealot, Storm into a Mama ship. Now, don't get me wrong, Zerg can counter that kind of army. Quite nicely, actually. It's a strong army. But it is something that Zergs can counter, but you do need late-game tech. If we're gonna be playing this never-ending mid-game, and herO can get the mothership out as, like, the cherry on top of the army, SHIN just doesn't have a good answer against it. By the way, we're making double Void Ray here. I thought we just had figured the Zerg out. So we decide to mix things up. Gotta keep them guessing. 2 Void Rays and then into an Oracle. By the way, that 1 Void Ray over here, already more useful than the Phoenix in the previous game. Just saying. What is this, man? We're going Twilight Council Forge? Double Void Ray? No third Nexus. We're going to need a third Nexus, herO. Lair right now coming up here for SHIN, who's already going double gas. Both players mixing things up a little bit. Less focus on economy, more focus on tech. Roach Warren coming up. I'm guessing Shin wants to go Hydras here, but honestly, he could even go Spire. I don't know if I really like the idea of Spire too much, but it wouldn't be an absolutely atrocious choice. I think you kind of have to go Hydras, but Hydras are also very predictable. Oracle swoops in. Nah, not really achieving all too much. Oh. Oh no, don't commit! Don't commit, herO! No! That's rough. Bunch of Zerglings die, but that is certainly... Oh, the Oracle died as well! Don't tell me it just... Okay, I gotta go... No! Don't tell me it, like, all army hotkeyed into these queens. Okay. So one mistake leads to a second mistake, which now creates an absolute disaster for herO. Now suddenly, even though Shin hasn't been focused on early game economy, he can focus on his own right now. Force fields? Okay, sure. But the Nexus is still dead. And now you can't replant it down because of force fields. Yeah, he hasn't been focused on early game economy too much. Prioritizing the lair and all the rest of it. But now we're going back to drones. And suddenly we're finding ourselves with like a fourth hatchery coming up at the same time as the third Nexus is building. Not ideal. Just because you make Void Rays, by the way, does not immediately mean you have to be playing like a Diamond League player either, right? Like, this seems to somehow go hand in hand. I feel like herO's control gets notably worse whenever he makes a Void Ray. I'm not sure why that is. Do you think there's like an IQ ceiling to playing a Void Ray first build? Maybe you have to be having a maximum of like 80 IQ. For some reason, we're getting dumber is what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't make any sense. It's unnecessary. Storm is coming, though. And +2 attack is on the horizon. It's going to be a while, but with Chrono, you can get it done reasonably quickly. So we end up with Roach Hydra Ling yet again. This is an easy... Like, if you want to go into a hive here, this is an easy moment to make that transition now. There's not really a whole lot that Protoss can do about it. Lasers! Thick beam! Bzz, bzz. Not going to happen. Shin is setting up a surround over here. The storms are going to have to be glorious if herO wants to hold on. I mean, he's got like 4 or 5 storms. Let's see. First storm is decent. We need a lot more than that, though. The Roach Hydra count is so big now. A lot of it, though, is still kind of like marching across. This is a lovely sandwich, though, here by Shin. Oh, he was dancing in the storm a little bit too much there. Keep in mind that the players are this zoomed in, and then with a giant block of interface at the bottom of their monitors, too. They cannot zoom out nearly as far as I can zoom out in the middle of this cast. So these split pushes are a bit risky. And you know what? The storms have been just about perfect. It's so interesting to me how, like, herO can have simultaneously really good Blink Stalker and then High Templar micro, while also all army hotkeying the Oracle through the middle of the map after getting his Adepts surrounded because he didn't pay attention to the shades, right? Like, how does that work? I don't quite understand. Like, obviously I'm poking some fun here and there. I don't mean it in a bad way, but it's just very... It's very weird how there's like these big peaks, but also very low lows. Most StarCraft pros out there are very consistent with their control. Like, either they're good or they're not, right? Like, either you're really good at micro or you're not. But herO is like... You know, it's like a... What do you call these things? An ECG? You can see the heart rate. It's like boop, boop. And then sometimes we have phenomenal micro, and sometimes we don't. Can't quite make sense of it. The Dropalords are coming. Shin is ready to lay down the law. Even though that previous attack was reasonably defended by herO, like he held on, it's still a massive supply lead right now for SHIN. The drop lords are moving on the right side of the map. Most of the Protoss army has now been split up. A lot of the probes are going to fall as well. The Protoss army, though, is setting up an accidental sandwich now. Wait a second. The sandwicher has become the sandwiched. SHIN realizes it, decides to target down the Nexus with about half his army, but this is kind of risky. Where's the High Templar? We need the Storm. In the meantime, the Dropper Lords have arrived, but they are empty. Nexus will fall, but the entire Zerg army is getting punched to the bottom of the map. That army here for the Zerg is not going home. Zealots over here in the meantime have pushed away the Zergling run by, and then the one Roach over here too. That was actually surprisingly good for herO. Even though he lost a lot of units, he did lose 11 probes as well. His army is massive compared to that of the Zerg. Yeah, look at this. Hoi, hoi, hoi. He was at about 80 supply there defending against like 130 army supply of Zerg. And somehow, Protoss is turned ahead after that entire debacle because, well, Zerg just decided to YOLO into the corner. He didn't want to get sandwiched, so he decided to get smashed. Oh, no. Oh, no. herO pulling a rabbit out of a hat. GG. And that now takes us to everybody's beloved Celestial Enclave. I mean, it's been forever since I've last pressed that button. Remember the audio interface problems I had like a month ago? I haven't really needed to, Oh, I'm very glad, by the way, that the audio interface is working again. Huh. Anyways, this is a map that has been remarkably absent lately. It's not that it's been taken out of the competitive pool, it's just that a lot of the games have been, well, from the RSL and then also obviously from some other tournaments that are running, like the Team Liquid Map Contest finalists and all the rest of it. Seems like the Celestial Enclave, while very popular at the start of the previous season, has become less so over the last few weeks. Anyways, what is this? Abomination of a Protoss strategy. Or, what? Zork strategy. We have gone hatch into hatch. Okay. One of the hatcheries, of course, in the natural expansion of the Protoss. Zealot being chronoed out. Second Zealot added into the mix as well. hero's like, hey, sir, excuse me. Sir, sorry. Excuse me, you're in the way. Oh, sorry. Can you maybe, like... I'm trying to get out. Could you... We can obviously just make the... Yeah, we can just take the Nexus over here if we really want to. Just like Zerg, there is that extra mineral line available. It's kind of awkward, right? Like, SHIN was hoping for an overreaction. Instead, we're just kind of building a Nexus or a hatchery where the Nexus should be. Okay, gets cancelled. Drone Scout is going to check. As the Adept has been here to... Yeah, it's been sent here to clean up all the dirty business. Maybe you can escape. Oh! He takes the gas. Alright. In the meantime, a probe has been blocking a third base from coming up. I don't like this start here for SHIN very much. Yeah, it's a little bit of bullying. But I think this is the type of bullying where the opponent actually gets ahead. This mineral line over here only has 5 mineral fields in it, compared to the conventional 8. Only a single gas. Normally you have 2. Obviously, Protoss has to deal with the same limitation here, but... Once you have this low ground wall, yeah, set up reasonably well, it is very easy now for herO to take another base. Obviously, you can make the same argument here for Zerg, but I think Protoss usually has a more difficult time getting a third base situated. Couple of Zerglings here, trying their best. It's chaos all over the map. Ooh, the Queen died here to the Zealots. It's chaos all over the map. But if you look here at the worker count now, it is just such a nice setup for herO. A lot of Lings are being produced as well, just to try and keep this low ground base alive. Those Zerglings, after ultimately cleaning this up and maybe saving the hatchery, what are they going to do? I think you could recall these units right now as herO. Recall, recall, recall. It's a bit too late. Oracle shows up. Maybe it's actually fine. Oracle is going to be able to get a lot of kills. Yeah, I think reducing the link count is actually totally fine here. For the Protoss player, he's already got the wall off done now. And we can add on a Nexus here. Nice and comfortably. Okay. While all of this is going on, herO is grabbing a few hundred resources more per minute that goes by. SHIN trying to catch up in that department right now, but those Zerglings are not really too useful on this map. One probe has been tasked, by the way, with killing the extractor. It's a... Aw, come on, don't kill steal him. Okay, well, you know what? It's honest work. Somebody's got to do it. It's just something that needs to be done eventually, you know? Okay, yeah, at least let him have the kill. Thank you. Probius over here has been hard at work for a while. Get him. In the meantime, though, there is that little push over here. Get him, Probius! Probius, there's fights going on around... Thank you, thank you. There's fights going on around the map. As herO is committing to a big move forward here. By the way, this is now his... He's won 3 maps in a row, right? Like, he could actually win 4 in a row at this rate. Just kind of crazy, considering how dominant game number 1 and 2 were for SHIN. There's the Twilight Council together with the Forge. Third Nexus just about done. Overlord Scout in the main base will reveal that, well, nothing really crazy is going on. Oh, this is a nice shade as well here for Protoss. He decides not to commit, seeing the number of links. Stasis Ward over here in the back as well of the Zerg's main. +1 melee coming up. He's now seen the Evo chamber, though, and that's big. No Roach Warren. I mean, you never really know if maybe there's one hiding on the edge of the creep, but seeing no Roach Warren, seeing a random Evo chamber like that, it's very indicative of a +1 melee opener. Yep, Storm is good. Storm, maybe Charge. I wouldn't even mind seeing Charge first here. Has to be Charge, right? I mean, or nothing. We could also just not make anything. He's busy microing on the other side. Make the men with the arms that are made out of swords. Yes. Make their swords more powerful. Very good. In the meantime, upgrade the men with the big brains. Or we just make a Twilight Council just to go for the men with the big brains. No, we go Blink. Okay. Blink is like the least sensical thing to be doing here, if I'm being honest. It just all feels a little weird. Blink is very late now. Baiting Nest on the back it is right now for SHIN. Oh. Wait a second. herO wants to make the man with the big brains, but he does not realize that he already made the structure that requires that exact thing. Okay. And now he starts... What? He started Storm in the first Templar Archives after making a second Templar Archives about 2 seconds before it without canceling the second one. Sometimes his brains are so big, I don't understand it. There's no advantage to having a second Templar Archives other than having a second one. I guess it's, you know, if your opponent drops the main base and kills it and now believes there's no more High Templar, you can still make more High Templar and keep surprising. Yeah, that's a very big gas mistake. Big blunder. He also did lose an Oracle on the other side of the map through a little bit of sloppy control. But still, it's been a very cost-effective start for herO, who's now trying to build up a 4th Nexus here. Okay. Overlord Speed coming up. Hydra Den yet again. We have not seen a single Hive, right? In this entire final so far. Kind of crazy. SHIN has not been focused on Hive tech whatsoever. This is nice, though, here for Protoss. Maybe he's going to lose one more Oracle. No, not quite. 6 drones. In addition to the workers that were already killed. Total of 11 right now. Yeah, and now we can kind of just cruise. If Zerg is not willing to go into Hive tech, why would Protoss go out onto the map? There's really no particular reason for it. We can do some harassment, maybe some zealots on the other side, maybe a cheeky little warp in. But there's not really a great reason to go and move out. herO sees these Zerglings in the back of his natural expansion. Oracle's actually empty, mostly just here to scare him. Boo! It worked. Nah, it's because of this push over here. He decided that the Zerglings are needed. Right over here at the front lines, herO going for a bit of a wild push, if I'm being honest. He's seen an opportunity, though, and he may actually be onto something. He's got everything going for a proper late game. He decides to commit, though, and rolls all of his units into those Banelings. Normally, it's the Banelings doing the rolling, but not that time around. Absolute disaster of a fight for herO. I don't think that really could have gone much worse. I don't think he assumed the centrifugal hooks was going to kick in right when it did. But that has now knocked herO's supply back to basically nothing, right? Like, none of his army here is still around. Forced to warp everything in again from scratch. I really don't think there was a good reason for herO to attack. Almost handing the advantage here to SHIN back on a silver platter. But it's okay. Yeah, I think it's still fine here for herO, despite the loss. Obviously, that wasn't a free army for SHIN either. Keep in mind that Banelings, I feel like that's something that's quickly forgotten about. Banelings are 50 minerals, 25 gas each. Like, they're expensive. They're not a cheap unit here. You really do need, like, 4 base economy minimum for those usually to really be worth their while. But resetting the Protoss supply count for the army is big. Massive amount of Zealots, though, going in. He sees the Dropper Lords right now being morphed in, too. Hatchery is maybe in some trouble. In the meantime, the Hydras are going in around the site. Looks like the Hatch will very likely die. Yeah, it will fall, but the Zealots are also not going to live for much longer. And that is now, like, what, 10 Zealots or so for a Hatch? A couple drones as well, not the end of the world. Hydras are going to load up into private jet, or at least some of them will. There's the fleet beacon right now added into the mix, so Mama can come out eventually. 5th Nexus in the far bottom right. Nearly done. I think herO's very best game plan would have been to just sit back and max. This is not a very good unit composition against maxed out Protoss. And since there's no intention to go Hive, there's really no hurry. Still though, we can still go for that same approach now. We don't really need to be too crazy. Looks like a couple Stalkers here, 3 Stalkers on the perimeter of the in-base expansion. We'll be able to deflect the Overlord drops. More and more Banelings are being morphed in. SHIN is ready to send it, man, with just pure Hydra-ling Bane again and again and again. Oh, yeah, he actually did bait this Protoss army out here. The storms are nice, but they need to be even nicer. That is so many High Templar dying. herO is kind of dropping the ball, man. 11 probes, or sorry, 11 High Templar is a lot of High Templar. Now suddenly the back door is wide open. Nobody likes that. Energy recharge right down to one of the High Templar. That's going to enable some additional storms yet again. The Banelings here trying to roll through, but they accidentally roll back into the Scythe Storm instead. Mistakes are being made by both players. Chaos all over the map. Still though, with the Zerglings and the Banelings dying, the Hydras are left vulnerable. Zealots alone in large enough clumps can definitely clean this up. Now the Hydras are in the main base. Pretty much all the gateways here do indeed get unpowered. This is a little bit awkward right now. I do believe that herO is going to be able to eventually clean this up. So much damage is being done as well, though, with a Zealot run by on the other side of the map. Okay, so we had a reset, into a reset, into a reset. Both players are effectively getting their entire army reset to nothing. Who favors that more? I think it's the player with the bigger tech. And that would be herO. SHIN can reproduce faster, but it's not like he's got a massive eco here on the back of it. He used to have a lot of workers, but he lost 28 of them. Nexus on the bottom right is also, yeah, not really done anything about. So this is 5 base eco for herO, 5 base eco for SHIN. I think this is fine. I think this is fine right here for Protoss. But really, what he could do, and what I think he probably should do, is chill. Like, we really just chill, man. Just breathe for a little bit. Maybe he's being antagonized a little bit by the Zerg. Forced out onto the map. But we made a fleet beacon. We could make Mama. The Mama's expensive. But we could wait and save up a bit of cash. SHIN really does enjoy these much more active type of games, though. In this type of scenario, I think it favors him for sure. Zealot Warping in the main base, not a bad idea. These are links without adrenal glands. We don't have Hive. So those Zerglings are not nearly as oppressive against +3 Zealots. I would also love to see the Forge upgrade. Start up the +1 armor. I think that would be a big deal. Either way, a little drop over here. Some Hydras, some Banelings. Mostly Zerglings. Good defense here, though. herO once more moving out onto the map. I don't think there's any good reason for it, but he apparently wants to be constantly fighting. You never really know exactly if there's any Banelings nearby, but we haven't had any burrow or anything along those lines. Well, you know what? I guess he does know that there are some Banelings nearby over here in the middle of the map. Zealots in the upper left-hand corner, ready to slice up another mineral line. Storms over here would be nice. Storms over here would be critical. Good Storms. Still, though, the Protoss army again on the run. Good surround here by SHIN, who's caught this Protoss army once more out in the open. And that is another reset for a lot of those expensive Protoss units. Should we just recall this? I feel like we should recall this, no? No, we're just gonna keep fighting. Oh my god. Recall, recall, recall. I think we need to get out. Oh my god. Okay. Now we go, mama! 18 drones did die. And you know what? It looks like these units are also sent to the chopping block, but they still got a lot of value in the end. So many resources available, by the way, for herO. Okay, finally he uses another set of warp pins. I guess with 13 gates, you can spend your money pretty quickly as well. You know what? I called him a mad genius not too long ago. Maybe we should call him the Butcher instead. Look at that guy. His name was Immortal. That turned out to be a lie. The Butcher of Soul. Sounds like a novel I would read. Oh, 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 oh. Man. So many units dying on both sides of the map. But with SHIN's economy knocked back to the Stone Age, ultimately that's good enough. Good timing. You can be in the video for a second. Incredible series, though. So it's herO here who wins 4 maps in a row against SHIN. Therefore winning the very first season of the GSL Code S of 2026. Not bad.